All right. Today we are with Buddy Causey. And Buddy, where are you from?
Well, man, I'm from Tennessee, but I've lived everywhere.
Okay, and your association with Alabama?
Well, I went to high school in Alabama. I started playing music in Alabama. Jacksonville State University is where I started. I was such a poor college student. I had to do something. So I love music. I love black R&B music.
How did you first get into music?
I think I was in it whether I wanted to or not. I lived in Mississippi at this time, and my mother had a maid that ironed with a maid, and she was the same age as my mother's sister, and we lived in Greenwood, and they took me over to a club with them, my aunt and myself, with only two white people there. And they had this young Lily, he was probably early 20s, and that was B.B. King. It was over in Indianola, and so that was my first, like, wow, that's cool. And then a guy went to the 8th grade in Birmingham, and we went on a vacation together, and he had a whole record of Ray Charles. Thank goodness they did it. But Ray Charles became my go-to guy when I actually started singing live. Back then I didn't have to wear sunglasses. I do now. My vision is worse than bad. But I would wear sunglasses. I'd drink about a half a pint of whiskey and hit that stage and do all Ray Charles songs. And that's all I was interested in at the time.
Okay. Who actually taught you to play guitar?
I can't play.
You can't?
I can't play anything.
Well, I can't either, but...
I hear stuff. And when I write, I have the melodies, I have the words. When I get someone that plays an instrument, I sing it to them, and I can tell them if it's a right chord or the wrong chord. I just can't tell them what it is.
Okay. And from singing Ray Charles, where did things lead you?
Well, I started singing NCO clubs, officer clubs, college parties, fraternity parties. And I went to Abbey Road Studio in Birmingham because we had these 3 songs: Hey Baby, 39, 21, 40 Shape, and I've Been Hurt. And they were the most popular songs we did at any party. So I recorded all 3 of them together in a medley at Battle. And then I went up to Muscle Shoals because people were getting record deals up there. So I sat in Quinn Ivey's office. He wouldn't see anybody that somebody wouldn't, kind of introduce him through the door. So I sat there a couple of days and finally got on his nerves, and he said, okay, let me hear it. And then we went in and cut a version and put it out on Quinby label, and it sold about 70,000 copies the first week. Then United Artists picked it up, and I went out with a bread truck because I knew so much about carrying equipment and stuff. And we traveled all over North and South Carolina, and that was my introduction into having a record.
Okay. What was some of the bands you were with?
First one was out of Jacksonville State called the Sidewinders, which was all jazz players, and all of them had perfect pitch, so that was great training. And then the days of the week, and I probably had 4 or 5 different versions of that, different players. And, I know most everybody, but we'd be here for a while if I told everybody. And then I played with a group called Cross, and then Buddy Causey and Cross, and I played with a group called Granny's Bathwater. Then I went out to L.A. and just recorded under my name, came back and played again, and then I went over to Atlanta, and I had a group called Buddy Causey and the Handsome White Boys with Ray Honey on guitar, who was an absolute, not only an Alabama legend, a legend in many places. He was the first one I heard that the Allman Brothers called to replace Dwayne when he died. And then I played with a group. We got a deal on Warner Brothers called Cooter Brown. And that was country, and if you'd ever told me I'd sing country music, when I started off, you'd have been highly in the category of offending me. And I ended up finding out that all music has great qualities. All music.
All right.
And when you say love of, I'm going to fast forward quite a bit, but I had some strokes, and it left me unable to, I couldn't talk without stuttering real bad, and I couldn't sing at all. And then the University of Alabama was kind enough to use me as a guinea pig, and I did therapy with them for a year. They gave me medicine, exercises. At the end of the year, they come back and say, well, buddy, sorry, man, but you've got nerve damage. One of your vocal cords is half the size of the other. You'll never be able to sing. And that made me see how much I love music. So from that point, I did something I'd never done very much, and that's pray. And I promised God that, well, at first I just asked for a purpose. And then I finally asked him if he'd let me sing again. Then I'm going to sing to people that I can give some kind of hope or light in their life. So I sing at churches and celebrate recovery meetings, and that's all I want to do.
Okay. You've got a new album. Tell us about your album.
Well, I wrote a song and I found a song. I tried to sing it, and can you say suck on this?
Yeah, you can say anything you
I
want.
sucked. It was so embarrassing. I just couldn't do it. So I took another 9 months off and went back and had another couple of songs, and this time it kind of worked. My voice is different. It's much more raspy than it was before. But I got to do something on this project that I've never done. A record company hires you and they say, oh man, we love what you do. And then you get in the studio and they try to make you do what they think you should do rather than letting you do what you do. So the guy that I went in the studio with is Blue Miller. He co-produced this with me and co-wrote most of the songs. But we did it the way we liked it, and we've had nothing but good response from it. So I finished it in March of this year, which is 2012, and I started singing churches in June and celebrate recovery meetings, and I'm busy.
Okay. The song on your album, Not Tonight, how did that come about?
Well, it's a real life story. I was playing on, I don't remember, General Jackson, and we did it to raise money for autism. And a buddy of mine had seen it on Facebook, and he drove all the way over from, I'm not going to say where, but he drove over. And then afterward, he was somebody that he and I used to just get loaded, smoking pot, and listen to music. And after it's over, he says, here, man. And I'm thinking, man, what a hypocrite I'm going to be if I do that. And it wasn't a week after that, I ran into somebody that I used to date, that I used, I thought just pretty foxy. And then she tried to turn up the heat on that. I'm married, and it just shows even once you get your life straight, you still got temptations in it. And Not Tonight is, every day's a war. Every day can be not today, but not tonight, not ever is how I feel. And I hope I can hold on to that till the day I hit the other side of the ground.
Okay. Where do you see your future?
Well, man, I'm wanting to play to as many people as I possibly can. My purpose now is to show that if God can take somebody that they said is not going to be able to sing and not going to be able to function as a human, to where I'm going out and playing in front of a bunch of folks. If he did it for me, he can certainly do it for them. So I'm trying to show just hope and light. And the other part of it, Jerry, which is the most important, my whole life, if somebody came up and goes, are you a Christian? Do you believe in God? Well, the first thing I do is go back, not forward. And so I'm taking the music that I've always liked, which is funk, R&B, Southern rock, kind of all combined. But I'm putting in Christian lyrics. They're literally, the songs are about what happened to me. And the Celebrate Recovery people, they're used to being in bars. Well, my music's got that kind of groove. Well, if the music hugs their neck and then they listen to what I'm saying, then I believe that's the purpose that I'm here for. I think that's why I didn't die.